Hey guys, Chris here from The Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. It's another Monday. We have another Monday marathon video to do. I believe this is episode 37 on what we can save from the charity shop that would have, if not for me, gone out to Ewaste at the transfer station and ended up in the waste stream. So I like to try and save as much as I can. This week we don't have a huge amount. We have a fan, and we're just coming out of winter here. We're into spring in Australia, and today actually feels quite warm. So coming into the season for fans. That looks pretty clean, so hopefully that works all right. This big black box, I think, is an air fryer. So hopefully that's not disgustingly dirty inside. Sometimes they are. Hopefully it works and we can sell it. I have a couple of lamps again. It seems to be lamp season, as it nearly always is. That one's not too bad. A few kitchen appliances, and every week I buy something to try and make a profit on. Just a little personal challenge. This week I got some coloured glass. We've got the base of a genie bottle. It's Italian made, probably 1960s or 70s. These genie bottles can bring pretty good money. This isn't your classic bulb type shape, but it's certainly very retro. Unfortunately, I don't have the top for it. It would have had quite a long top, and I don't think I've got any spare tops floating around. But it's a nice one all the same. It is boldly marked on the bottom, made in Italy. So it's not a cheap copy one. It's an original 70s or 60s one. And I think we'll get pretty good money for that. I paid $8. I was happy to pay $8 for that. Some of those genie bottles, especially the classic genie bottle shape, in certain colours can bring many hundreds of dollars. Also, coloured glass. 1960s, probably Polish made. Just a water jug. I guess it would have had a set of glasses with it. There was a few glasses in the op shop that I think suited it. Well, they did. They were the same colour, but there wasn't a full set, and they wanted $2 each for the glasses, and this was $8. Because the glasses weren't a complete set, it would have, if there had been 6 glasses, that would have been $12. It would have been $20 all up. I probably would have paid that because I would have easily got 60, but with, I think there was 3 glasses and then there was one with a chip on it or something like that. I didn't want to just have a few glasses with it at $2 each. So I just grabbed the jug. They priced them separately, so they obviously didn't mind if they were split up. The thing to look with these glass jugs with a moulded glass handle, always have a look around the top where it moulds onto the actual jug, because sometimes they fracture, and around the bottom. Oh, there's a little sticker. Did I say Polish made? I think that says made in Poland. So there we go. Nice 60s era coloured glass jug. I should be able to get about $30 for that, so we'll do pretty well for our 8. This one, I'm not sure what I'll put on it. I might check out this pattern online. You know, if I had the top for it, it could be worth $150. These can bring pretty good dollars, but then this isn't your classic shape, so don't know, but I'm going to do well on my $8. I'll check that out and get back to you later in this video. Rightio, we have some kitchen appliances, some lamps, as I said, the fan, the air fryer. We'll see if we can save it all this week. So let's have a better look. The fan looks pretty good, actually. It does just need a little bit of a clean. It's got a bit of staining around the back, and I don't know what that is. It looks like it might even be blood, lipstick, gravy. I don't know. It needs a clean up anyway. But the actual fan blades look good, because these often get a lot of dust wrapped around the blades. The plastic fan blades are always quite rough on the edges, and they just catch dust while they're being used. This one looks pretty clean, so I don't think it's had much use at all. It's a cheaper brand. Did I see a brand on it? Delto, something like that. Made in China, of course. So only a fairly cheap supermarket brand, I would imagine. But we should be able to get some reasonable money for that. Certainly at least 10. I'll have to check them out. We have a kettle, a really basic plastic kettle here. You don't get much more simple than this one. I thought it might have had a base, but the cord goes straight into it. It just looks a bit unfinished on the bottom. There's no stoppers for it to sit on, so maybe there was a base and it got misplaced. It still will work as a kettle. It doesn't look like it's ever been used. It's clean as a whistle. So we'll plug that. Oh, look at this. It's a 12-volt kettle. We had one of those a while back. This one's probably better than the one we had a while back. It's more modern. So we'll plug this in and see if it works. Great camper's kettle. The last 12-volt kettle I had, you had to plan for a cuppa about 2 hours in advance because it took a long time to heat up. Hopefully that one works better. All right, what do we got here? A very, very dirty Sandwich maker, toasty. Yeah, it's disgusting. All the molten cheese has gone down the back. Very oily, a bit scratched up on the plate. So we're not going to save that one. I'm just going to scrap that one, and I won't video scrapping this because we did a similar one just the other week. But really, all I'm going to do is quickly pull it apart to save these plates. They're not even very heavy. I don't know if it's even worth it giving this one so oily. I'll decide on that later. At least we've got a cord, but yeah, we're not going to save that one, unfortunately. Oh, and we have a lamp, a deceased lamp. Well, the shade is deceased. All right, that's fine. Oh, actually, that is the wider style. And I did see, let me take that off. Whoops. That's the wider opening. It's not your standard size lampshade. And I saw a good shade at the op shop or the charity shop when I was there. And I didn't buy it because it had the wider hole in it. And I'm going to need it for this lamp. And it was a white shade. It wasn't a cone-shaped one. It was more of a cylinder. It would suit this lamp fine. I hope it's still there. I might duck down there tomorrow morning and grab it. They only wanted like $2 for it. So this one, that wire's just going in our shred. This shade is going in our rubbish, unfortunately. Can't do much with that. But the lamp itself, we'll test it, make sure it's okay. It doesn't have a switch, so there's a pretty good chance that's actually a touch lamp. I'd say it must be. Hopefully that works. And hopefully that other shade's still at the charity shop. All right, that's all we have in here. What was this? Oh, just some instructions for a lamp that I didn't get. Okay, so the only other things we have are this lamp here, which is, yeah, it's not a bad lamp. It looks like it's some sort of resin. It's quite heavy, but it's been broken. Oh, and maybe re-glued. Yeah, it seems solid, but it's got a crack in it just through the base there. I think it's actually been glued because it's cracked right round, and yeah, it's quite solid. So someone's repaired it. I can still sell that if it tests okay. The shade, though, is missing a few of the little plastic lusters. Quite a few. Maybe I should snip the rest off. The shade's still okay otherwise. Or maybe leave them on. Just trim up the loose bits of cotton. And the actual fitting's loose. All right, it needs a little bit of work, but hopefully we can save that one. And the last thing, oh, just came out. I think this is an air fryer. And actually it's clean. Well, reasonably clean. I'm happy to see that. These things are sometimes very oily, much like the sandwich makers. Does that lift out? I'm not sure, but it's been used for sure. It's a little oily, but it's reasonably neat. Not quite so disgusting. Looks pretty good in there. It's got the heating element up on top there. The outside, the black, is quite grubby. It will clean up all right. I don't know where the control panel is. How do you operate these things? It's an Anko brand, so it's only a cheap Kmart one. And I don't know where the control is. Is there any switches on it? Oh, maybe it's a light up panel. Might be a touch panel. All right, well, I guess we can plug it in and see if it works. So, okay, we're not going to save everything, but we'll give it a fair go on saving most of it. So let's test the fan first. I called it a Delto, but I think it's just Alto. I tried Googling it. I didn't have any luck because when I typed in Alto fan, yeah, Alto. Can you see that? When I typed in Alto fan, Google thought I was a fan of Elton John, so that wasn't very helpful at all. Tried a few different combinations of box fan and desk fan and that sort of stuff. Found quite a lot of different brands, all much the same, and they sell new for anywhere from $40 to $80. Interesting, the spelling of Luva. I would have had the R and the E round the other way, but I don't know, maybe the Chinese like to spell it that way. The timer's spelt right. That is, I don't know, it's just got a series of numbers. I guess it's fan speed. It doesn't actually say, perhaps they couldn't spell speed. Let's plug it in. Let's stop being critical of language translations. Okay, we'll power it up through the appliance tester. We need to go on. Oh, we're on 0 speed. Okay, there's one. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's quite powerful and not super loud. You might be getting some air noise through the microphone, but it's sounds very sounds new actually, and it should do. It looks like it's hardly ever been used. 2, it's quite powerful. 3, fantastic, nearly good enough for a hovercraft. All right, so that goes well. The switch feels good. The timer seems to work. It sounds like it's actually a mechanical timer rather than an electronic one. And the louver, yep, so that spins, gives you the like an oscillate. Doesn't really oscillate, but it directs the air in different positions. So that's in good working condition, and it's going to pretty well present as new once we clean the mysterious stain off the back. So I think we'll put $20 on that. We're coming into fan season, as I said, and it works like a new one. Very good. Well, a nice quick test, and it'll be quick to clean up. So $20 for next to no time at all is excellent. We had a good week last week for return on time invested, so that was good. Let's see if this lamp works. I'll have to find a globe for it. Now, we think this is a touch lamp, and if it does work, I will rush back to the charity shop tomorrow and grab that other shade, because if this works as a touch lamp and the shade is really good, the one I looked at, it was just the wrong size for what I normally use. Had I known I was going to get one of these, I would have grabbed it. Oh no, it wasn't off it, because this one had a broken shade, didn't it? All right, I'll find a globe. Okay, it's an Edison screw, and we do need an incandescent globe because touch lamps don't work with LED globes. Okay, let's power that up, and we've got nothing. I'm not 100% sure that globe's good though. Is there a globe in this one? No. Oh, just looked at that fitting. That fitting's broken on that lamp, so that one might have to be scrapped as well. Maybe we could put that shade on this one. No, it's a smaller size shade. We're not having a win any direction. I'm not actually sure if touch lamps work on compact fluorescent globes. I guess we'll see. Of course, the touch lamp itself may be faulty. It's still turned on. No, we've got nothing. There's definitely no inline switch. And there's definitely no switch up here. So I couldn't find another globe, but I did test this one and it does work. So we have a lamp that's faulty. Oh, actually the bottom seems to be... Maybe we'll pull that apart and have a look. We'll do that later though. Let's finish testing. So this one, I'm thinking now we won't go to the trouble of fixing this one, given that it has been repaired already in the base. And I think, yeah, it needs a new fitting that's broken off around the side there, so the globe won't hold in there. I've probably got plenty of fittings for it. Is it really worth it? How strong is it? That's pretty strong. Okay, well maybe we can sell it. Maybe I'll put a new fitting on there. Now this doesn't have a... Oh, the switch was up here. Yeah, the switch feels a bit dodgy anyway, so that needs replacement. Now it's quite dirty around the edge, but it's actually going to clean up okay, so I think we'll probably reuse this shade. And I'm satisfied that the brake is okay. It's not going to fall apart. It may well have been re-glued, but it's quite strong. So I'm just going to replace the fitting, reuse this shade, just trim up the bits of cotton, leave the other dangly lustres there. They're only plastic. And then we'll have an operational lamp. We might be able to get $10 for. It's barely worth the time, but at least we should be able to save it. So we'll do that a bit later too. All we need to do, let's get it out of the road. So the only other thing we need to test, other than the 12-volt kettle, is this air fryer. And as I said earlier, I'm assuming some sort of control panel lights up because I can't see any controls or buttons anywhere. So let's power it up and see. Okay, there we go. So we do have some controls, but they've vanished again now. Turn it on, there we go. So 180 degrees. It's got all different functions. Temperature, it's got a timer. Looks pretty straightforward. That's the timer. That responds. Temperature. That responds. And I think we've got to push that. Okay, sounds like it's working. I heard a relay click. The fan's going. And I'm assuming when you pull this out, it stops. Yep. Was it getting hot? Yes, the element is getting warm. So it works fine. Just needs a clean up. All right. Looks really simple to use. Okay, I'll give this a clean up. Turn that off. Don't want it to get too hot. All right, so that should be quite a saleable piece. It was an Anko one, I think, from memory. So it's probably only a, I don't know, $60, $70, $80 one new. But if we clean it up, it's been on the appliance tester. It's double insulated, I think. So there's no earth to check. It's all plastic other than that drawer I just took out. Is it double insulated? No, I don't think it is. We'll have to check to see if there's an earth through the metal up here. Yes, and it does pass. So that's all good. All right, so I'll clean up on that one. We might get $20 for that one as well. That'll be good. We can save that. So I put a bit of water in this 12-volt kettle and it's been buzzing away for quite a while. It has got hot, but these things just don't heat up very quickly. Although in saying that, I think it's limited by my power supply here. Only outputs 5 amps and it did click off before it got quite hot and the thermal switch clicked off before this boiled. So we might as well turn that off again. But the kettle certainly does work. I suspect this is the first time anyone's ever boiled water in it and I didn't quite get there. So 5 amps probably isn't enough for a kettle. The average car cigarette lighter output should do at least 10 amps, so you'd have no troubles out on a camping trip boiling your kettle, and it probably would boil a little quicker, I guess. Although if it's drawing more than 5 amps, it would have blown the fuse. So maybe they just do take a long time. Anyway, this is in as new condition. I'll tip this water out now. So it's had a bit of a rinse. It doesn't need any other clean. It does look brand new. And I don't know what they're worth. We should be able to get $10 for it though. Some camper will probably love it. Okay, let's have a go at repairing this lamp now. I'll take the cord clamp off the bottom. It's just a Phillips head screw. And that will allow us to undo the clamp and, well actually, yeah, and drag the cord through from the top. Once we disconnect the light fitting itself. That will actually slide through. Yeah, we don't actually have to undo that. I'm not going to take all the stem apart. Whoever glued it, I think, did a reasonable job in that it seems quite strong. And because of the design of it with the kind of the silver and dirty gold colour, I don't know if it's been touched up or whether it actually is dirty. I think it is quite dirty. I should give it a wash. But you can't really see the crack. So, and it's nice and straight, so they've done a good job there. All right, let's take the top section off. That is going to undo the bottom. No, it's not. It's just undoing the top. Doesn't matter if we twist the cord right up. In fact, what we'll do is, to make life a little easier, we're not keeping this cord, we'll snip it off at the bottom. And then we can just undo this without it twisting the cord up and getting tight to undo. A lot of thread there. All right, let's pull that cord through. Now we can get into this broken fitting. And not that we really need to. And we can undo our wires. Probably not much point. Let's just snip them off. So that fitting's no good. That can go into e-waste. We probably don't have to unscrew that bit if we get the same type of fitting. That one's a bit dirty. We might replace that. And the cord itself is just a bit of return for us as far as insulated copper wire goes. The plug can go to e-waste. All right, I've got to find another switch now. Okay, it's the next day and I've decided to replace the cord with a switched cord, and that way we don't need a switch in the top fitting, and I found a fitting that's going to fit. I have swapped the base part over from the old fitting because they match up differently, so I just swapped that over before, so that will fit into there somehow that way. We have to remember to put our collar on, and we also have to remember to put this back through when we feed the wire through. So that's the next stage. Push the wire up through the base of the lamp. Now the wire has little brass crimp-on pieces on the end of it from the old lamp that it came from, and I do save any good cord with a good switch in it because I rewire lamps quite often, and generally it's a pretty quick process, and if the lamp's worth it, you can make some good dollars for your time. So let's pull that one through. We have then to put these two on next. Now I'm concentrating here because just about everyone on the planet at some stage has put things together and left something out. So we've got, what have we got next? We've got this part, no, the collar. No, that's the wrong collar, that's the top collar. The collar's already on there. So we can feed this through here. A bit of a jiggle, it should come through. Sometimes they get a bit kinked, the wires, and they don't push right up because there's a little bit of a shoulder on that plastic housing at the top. I've got one poking through. Let's straighten them up a bit. That's better. Okay, so we've got our collar on there. We need to now put this piece in, which just provides that bit of extra insulation between the wire and the metal thread. That should push in there. Like so. Now let's just double check that we've got it all right. That's in the right order. That will thread into there. We'll screw this in now, because if we screw it in after we've wired the fitting in, it's going to twist the cord up. So put that down there. We can thread this in. It should spin around the cord. Let's stand it up. It's a long thread on this lamp. Okay, that sleeve is all central. Let's just nip that up with the pliers. Okay, that's tight enough. Rightio, now we're ready to wire up the fitting here. It has little hooks that you've got to feed the wires under. I think we should have enough length, so we'll put the wires into the terminals and then we'll feed them under the hook, which provides strain relief, even though this wire is clamped at the base of the lamp anyway. It doesn't really need the strain relief on the fitting here, but it's good practice to have it wired the right way. Now, polarity on lamps really doesn't matter, especially on these ones with 2 pins on the incandescent globes, because you can put the globe in either way anyway. Usually on an Edison screw globe, I will put the neutral to the part that goes to the outside of the globe and not the center pin. But globes don't really require a certain polarity. Okay, we'll screw that one up. Nice and firm, and we should have enough wire length to put that under the hook. Same with the other side. That's done. Beautiful. So that's all complete. We can now pull the wire back through, locate the fitting in its proper spot, and do up the bottom collar. And that's all that's involved in replacing a lamp fitting. Pretty straightforward, especially when you don't have to worry about a switch, although the switch ones are fine anyway because it's all integral with the fitting. All we have to do now is to do up the clamp at the bottom again and fit the shade. Give the shade a bit of a clean up and this lamp will be finished. Let's put a globe in quickly and give it a test. That holds securely. We'll plug that into the appliance tester and switch it on. Excellent. Alright, I will give this one a little bit of a wash up. It's quite dirty around the base and I'll finish cleaning up the shade, but this lamp is finished. Now this other lamp, I ducked back to the charity shop this morning and this was the shade that I should have grabbed when I first saw it. Luckily it was still there. Only $2, that's all I wanted for it, and it's going to go perfectly on this lamp that had the deceased shade. But first we need to get the lamp working, and I'm pretty sure it's a touch lamp, and probably just bypass the touch electronics, take them out and put a switched cord through exactly like we did with the other lamp. So let's have a look under here. This one's probably going to be a nicer lamp than the other one, I think. And it hasn't been repaired in the base for a start. Let's get this base off it. Oh, has that got a screw through the middle under the label? Maybe it has. Let's take the label off. No? Or is it under the felt? Oh, it is. There's two screws under the felt. Okay. Let's take those out. That will no doubt make it easier to dismantle. Alright, that's better. Okay, so yes, that's a little control box. It was definitely a touch lamp. I believe you can buy replacement touch sensors fairly cheaply. I don't know if I really want to turn it back into a touch lamp. I certainly don't want to spend any money on it. Let's pop this open. I'm not sure what's in these. How does it come open? Maybe you're not supposed to open it. No, I don't think it's clipped. I think it's probably glued. Or I've broken the end out of it, but that's fine. I'm not going to use that at all. Let's chop that out of it. They can go to Ewaste. And like the other one, we'll chop the wire at the bottom here so we can slide the whole movement up through the middle. This one does have an earth wire. Although it doesn't have an earth on the plug. So that was probably something to... Oh, that was for the touch sensor. So when you touch the metal, we don't need that then. And we have lots of scraps of wire for our wire bin. And we've got to open out this clamp on the side to be able to put our new wire through. And we will need to use that clamp for our new wire. Alright, I won't bother showing you the rest of this. It's it's pretty well exactly the same as the other one. We're going to take this fitting off, pull the wire out, find a better fitting. It will need to have the wide top on it though to suit the lamp the shade that I bought. Unless we just, well, we can probably use this fitting. We don't need to replace it. But I'll just have to put the new wire onto that fitting and run it down through the bottom, and then we can use the shade. That's good. Okay. Let's find another cord with a switch in it. This lamp is now back together. No problems. Pretty straightforward. In fact, it was easier than the other one. And, oh, we better turn the appliance tester on. And voila, she works perfectly. Beautiful lamp, actually. Still need to just clean the metal up a bit at the bottom, but it certainly doesn't need to stay a touch lamp. It's quite fine with an inline switch. And here's a quick look at the stuff on the deck. Everything cleaned up really well. The lamps present well. Yeah, it's all pretty clean. The only thing we couldn't save or didn't try to save was that little sandwich press. A little bit of rubbish there, a little bit of e-waste. I didn't worry about taking the plates out of that sandwich press. It just wasn't worth it. It's very light. So we have some electrical wire for our wire bins and some quite saleable stuff. Oh, I forgot to bring the two bottles out, or the bottle and the jug, but you saw them at the start. Let's go to the price list. So this week for part 37, the numbers look like this. A potential $70 back on our e-waste and some very good profits to be made from a couple of good picks. I think I'll get 50 for the bottle, even without the top. If it had the top, I'd be looking at over 100 for it. I think it'll sell at that. And 30 for the jug is quite achievable. Potentially $150 back. Not a lot of time spent this week. We didn't really need to do the lamps, but it was kind of nice to save them. But if I had have just scrapped them both, we would have had a very good return for very little work. But that's okay. I like to save as much as I can. The only thing we didn't save was that sandwich press or toasty maker. And I could have probably saved it, but I don't like selling those when they're a bit rough on the plates as well. So that's all right for this week. Previous week, part 36. We had a bit of a mishap with those 80s bedside lamps. Unfortunately, I had them out the front and there was a gust of wind and one of them bit the dust. Hit the concrete pretty hard and the base smashed wide open. I've still got the shade, which I'll keep, but now we just have one to sell at $10. So that was a shame. What did we sell? We sold the baby blender to someone via a Facebook post, and the cordless straightener sold from the shop first day. So we got $40 back on those straight up. That's pretty good. And the salt lamp's on in the shop and it looks fantastic. I don't mind if it stays there. I don't think anything's happened for this stuff since last time we reported. So I still have the pink lamp now with a black shade. Still have the iron. And I think we had sold that train cake pan last time, so nothing else has gone from there as yet. And part 34 is ready to be ruled off. We only have one of the gaming headphones left. Everything else is gone as far as the e-waste goes. And nothing else has changed with this stuff, but this is good shop stock, so that's fine. We can rule this page off, and everything else previously has been ruled off. And thanks guys for joining me on another e-waste adventure. I do really enjoy doing this each Monday, and I love going to the charity shop and just, you never know what's going to be in my pile, and that's kind of exciting. And also I like browsing around charity shops. Who doesn't? I mean, anyone that's a bit of a dealer or a collector loves going to a charity shop. And I've got myself into the habit of saying charity shop now. I used to say op shop, because that's what the Aussies call them. But I know most of you don't understand what op shop means, so I've adjusted. No need to thank me. Thanks for enjoying my channel. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.